Hey there, 8th graders. Welcome to today's explainer lesson. I'm absolutely pumped to be guiding you through this topic because we're diving into reading for meaning and making text-to-self connections. Now, as an 8th grader, you're tackling way more complex, fascinating literature than ever before. But listen, reading isn't just about sounding out words or cramming facts for a test. It's about discovering truth and actually seeing yourself in the pages. So, go ahead and get your notebooks ready, settle in, and let's make some reading magic happen.
Let me ask you something right out of the gate. Have you ever been reading a story or maybe a poem and just stopped dead in your tracks because you thought, wow, that is exactly how I feel? Seriously, think about it for a second. Have you ever felt completely understood by an author who lived hundreds of years ago or maybe halfway across the world? Because that exact feeling right there, that's the absolute secret to making reading come alive. It's the bridge between ink on a page and real, beating human hearts.
So here's our quick roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover the big idea, why connections matter, how to make connections, practice making connections, your homework assignment, and finally, the godly learner.
Okay, let's dive right in. Section 1, the big idea, defining the core concept.
All right, so here is your academic baseline for today. A text-to-self connection is simply linking what you read to your own life, your own feelings, and your personal experiences. Look, when you're reading a novel for class, you shouldn't just check your personal life at the door. You got to bring your memories, your joys, your struggles, and your questions right into the text with you. When you link a character's journey to your own, the words literally leap off the page. You stop being just a passive observer, and you become an active participant in the story.
You know, this concept isn't just for English class either. Check out this incredibly powerful verse from Psalm 119, verse 11. I have stored up your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. Think about how that applies to what we're talking about today. When we read the Bible, we aren't just reading ancient history, we're storing words in our hearts. We are making a text-to-self connection by relating God's text to our own actions, our choices, and our hearts. It really is the ultimate example of reading for meaning.
Moving right along to Section 2, why connections matter, or the benefits of making it personal.
Why do we even do this? Well, the crucial point here is that making these connections actually changes your brain's relationship with the book. Making it personal makes reading memorable and meaningful. It's like this. When you connect a story to your personal experience, the book acts like a mirror reflecting your own life. And that helps you understand the complex emotions, decisions, and challenges the characters are facing, because you've basically been in their shoes. But it doesn't stop there. Once a book acts as a mirror, it transforms into a window. It builds profound empathy for others. It reminds us that whether you're an 8th grader today or a character in a historical novel from the 1800s, literature reflects the universal human journey.
All right, Section 3, how to make connections, practical instruction.
So how do we actually do this? I want you to actively use these steps internally while you're reading. First, just ask yourself, have I felt this way before? Second, have I been in a similar situation? And you got to be honest with yourself here. Even a tiny, minor similarity helps make a character's choice suddenly seem completely logical. Or it might help you predict what's going to happen next. That's step 3, noticing how the connection changes your understanding of the plot. But pay close attention to step 4. Don't force it. You need to recognize when a connection just isn't there. Not every text is going to match your life perfectly, and honestly, that's a good thing. Realizing you have zero connection to a character's experience is super valuable because it forces you to just sit back, listen, and learn about a brand new perspective.
Let's put this into action. Section 4, practice making connections, going through some guided examples.
Let's look at a quick example of what we call a shared emotion. Imagine you're reading a short story about a student who is just terrified and nervous right before giving a speech. Now, your connection might be, I remember my heart racing before my school assembly. See, by relating the text to your own racing heart, you truly understand the character's fear. You understand the sheer courage it's going to take for them to step up to that microphone because you know exactly what it took for you.
Here's another one. This time we're looking at a similar situation. Say the text is a poem about moving to a new city. Your connection? Well, I moved last year, so I know that crazy mix of excitement and sadness. Bringing your own personal experience into the poem helps you deeply appreciate the poet's imagery. When the poet writes about packing memories in boxes, you aren't just reading the words. You actually feel the physical weight of those boxes because you've taped them shut yourself.
And this one brilliantly illustrates our third type of connection, different but related. Say the text is a nonfiction article on mountain climbing. Your connection might be, okay, I've never climbed a mountain, but I have hiked a really steep trail. The situations aren't identical. You didn't scale Mount Everest, but recognizing that familiar physical effort, that burning in your legs, and the pure determination to reach the top. That makes the climber's massive challenge instantly more relatable to you.
Okay, Section 5, your homework assignment, independent practice.
Grab your pens because here are the 5 things I need you to complete before our next class. First, identify a personal experience connected to a character's feelings in whatever book you are currently reading. Second, write a short paragraph explaining exactly how this connection changes your view of the story. Third, describe a time you faced a challenge similar to one in the text. Fourth, list 2 emotions you share with a character and explain them. And finally, number 5, I want you to reflect on the time when you had absolutely zero personal connection to the text. What did you learn anyway? I really want to see you stretching your empathy muscles on that last one.
And finally, Section 6, the Godly Learner, exploring the HeroesMart Academy philosophy.
Here at HeroesMart Academy, our foundational philosophy is that education must be closely intertwined with biblical morality. Why? Because honestly, education without morality can actually be harmful. If we just teach you to be incredibly smart, but we completely ignore teaching you to be good, we are failing you. Knowledge and intelligence shouldn't simply exist to make you more capable or successful in the world's eyes. That knowledge should be a tool that equips you to make wise, God-honoring choices in absolutely everything you do.
This is perfectly captured in Romans chapter 8, verses 6 and 7. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. As you develop these brilliant academic skills, like analyzing text, making complex connections, and writing those great essays, I strongly encourage you to pursue academic excellence while keeping your mind strictly centered on God, on truth, and on wisdom. Being spiritually minded brings life and peace to your studies.
So as we wrap up today, I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder as you pack up your notes. How will you use your new knowledge and reading connections to honor God this week? Think about it. When you read, when you build genuine empathy for a character, how will you let that empathy shape the way you treat your family, your friends, and your community? Work hard on your homework, keep making those connections, and keep reading for meaning. Have an absolutely great day, 8th graders.